So I dropped out of Berkeley last January, and it was the best decision of my life. Now, before I get into the details, I want to give you guys a little bit of context. This was me as a freshman in high school. These are my grades. As you can clearly see, I definitely was not super into school. I just saw it as something that you were just supposed to do. Things started to change around the end of my sophomore year. Everyone was talking about like colleges and how their dream schools were Harvard and Stanford. And I was just like really confused because I don't know why you'd want to like dream about a school. That sounds more like a nightmare to me. But soon enough, the peer pressure kind of started getting to me, started freaking out a little bit. I didn't want to be left behind. Like my parents didn't swim across the Pacific Ocean uphill in the snow for me to go work at McDonald's. So I decided to join this competition called Academic Decathlon, and I basically just worked my butt off literally all the time. I was studying in the car, at the dentist, on the toilet. I wish I was kidding about that, but in the end it all paid off. I won the national competition, got lots of medals, lots of awards, and apparently nerding out really hard for a whole year and getting good SAT scores is enough to get you into UC Berkeley. Now at this point, I thought it'd be smooth sailing from here. I would just get good grades, get a job, find a wife, have 2.5 kids. I was riding the high of kind of defying the super low expectations everyone had for me. So I was doing well in school, and life just felt really good for a while. Little did I know, all that would soon come crashing down. Now, I don't know about you, but the first 18 years of my life kind of felt like it was on autopilot. You just go to school, learn what they tell you to learn so that you can get into a good college. But now that I was here, it wasn't really clear what was supposed to come next. I majored in mechanical engineering, and I didn't hate it, but I definitely didn't like it either. I wasn't enjoying my classes, and it didn't really feel like I was learning anything. The longer I kept going through school, the more I felt like I was running at full speed with like a blindfold on towards a future that I didn't really want. Everything changed in November of 2018 when I joined Berkeley's annual hackathon with my friend Jen. Not gonna lie, we honestly just went to get free snacks, but we looted the entire stadium in 2 hours, and the event was supposed to last 2 days, so we kind of got bored and decided to actually make something. I'm not gonna go into the details of what we actually built, but the gist of it is basically I had this little side hustle I was doing that was making a little bit of money, but I wanted to scale it up, and we basically try to automate that process. If you want to know more about that, there's a Medium article I wrote down below in the description. But basically, that night, I felt just super excited to learn again, and it was something I hadn't felt in ages, so I knew I had to do something about it. I decided right then and there that I wanted to drop out of school and work on projects like this for a while. It was definitely a super abrupt decision, and it would actually cause a lot of fights with my parents later, but in my mind, it was just the obvious thing to do. Now we get to the fun part. The next 7 months of my life were spent building a startup called SafeBox. Now, to be clear, I had no background in product design. I had no idea how to lead a team, and by far it was definitely the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But despite all the pain and all the failure I faced, I think I was learning more every week than I learned the entire 2 years I was in school. I was so excited about even the possibility of leaving my mark on the world, and I think more importantly, I was excited to finally be working on something I cared about instead of chasing someone else's dreams. Something about all this really confused me for a while. How is it that I was able to pull off 12-hour study days in high school and not even be able to do homework assignments in college? How did I convince myself to pull all-nighters building my app when I couldn't even bring myself to show up to group projects in class? This quote by Nietzsche really sums it up for me. He who has a why to live for can bear almost anyhow. Even though I was able to get into a really good college, I never found a compelling reason to actually care about what I was studying. I studied not because I wanted to become a great engineer, but because everyone else around me was doing it. So whenever I would work hard and get an A, it just felt so empty. Like it was just another letter on a transcript. School wasn't helping me get to where I wanted to be in life because I never took the time to figure out where I wanted to be in life. So many kids go into college to try a whole bunch of different things that they don't actually care about, hoping that like one day their passion will jump out of nowhere and slap them in the face. But that's just not how life works. Everyone talks about finding your passion and all that, but it's not enough to just try a whole bunch of different things. You also need to commit to whatever you're doing long enough for it to bear fruit. And the only way to get yourself to commit is by finding a good reason why it's worth doing in the first place. You don't just become passionate about playing guitar by picking one up and playing for 10 minutes. You have to keep at it for weeks and weeks for calluses to even form on your fingers. But until that happens, playing guitar kind of sucks. When I was 6, my parents made me take guitar lessons, and I really hated every minute of it. It just hurt too much, and it really wasn't fun. But when I turned 12 and decided I wanted to impress this cute girl at lunchtime, all of a sudden it was like, what pain? Like, I feel nothing. I love playing guitar. The same thing goes for everything else in life. I remember trying all these new hobbies only to end up quitting when things got hard. I never found an actual reason, aside from it seems fun, to continue on despite the growing pains. It wasn't until I sat down and asked myself, why do you want to do this, that I was finally able to persevere through all the hard stuff and actually start enjoying my hobbies. So the moral of the story here isn't for you to drop out of school and go start a company. SafeBox ended up being a failure, and it definitely was not all fun and games. But what I am telling you to do is to really take a step back and ask yourself whether the path you're on is leading you towards somewhere you want to be. Do you care about this enough to continue on fighting even when it hits the fan? We all put up these subconscious mental barriers to protect us from the truth. It's a lot easier to continue doing something you hate for years than to confront reality and quit. But if you don't actually care about what you're doing, sooner or later you will quit. Either that or you'll just burn out and hate your life. You need to find your why, your reason to continue fighting even when everything sucks. And when you do, all of a sudden, even the most boring things will start to have meaning. You'll actually want to get up out of bed every morning and work harder than you did yesterday, because even though you've never felt more exhausted, I think you'll also find that you've never felt more alive. Am I focused? Do I look crispy?
No, you look blurry.
That's bad. Okay, hold on. Can you not? I'm cringing at myself already. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Smash that like button. No, this is not my brand, okay? My brand is more calm and composed. One more time. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you guys are having a quarter life crisis, if you're struggling with school, you're really frustrated with life, find me on Instagram, find me on Twitter. I'm always happy to chat. See you guys soon.